Alright, you ready? One. Okay. 1 minute. Okay.
Hey, what's happening? It's your boy Big K.R.I.T, third co-representing. You know, I'm rocking with RapSpot.dk. You know what it is, pimp.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see you here in Denmark.
No doubt,
is it your first time in Europe?
No, actually we've been making our runs, man. I just came from Berlin. We did a show at a Splash Festival down there, man. We also in Sweden. We did what was out there in Stockholm. You know what I'm saying? So we starting to make our moves over here now, man. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and it's great. You have a new album out at the same time.
Yep, live from Underground.
Yeah, which is. It's interesting because in a way you already have 4 albums out.
No doubt, no doubt. Oh, that's a good way to think of it.
You know, it seems like your mixtapes, so-called, are like conceived as albums, basically. That's how, I mean, they seem put together that way. I was wondering about that process, how it made you distinguish between the two, and how you thought about those mixtapes, producing and writing everything yourself. And,
For me, it was, you know, at one point mixtapes were really a situation where you freestyle over other folks' beats.
Yeah.
And the thing about that was that if the song sounds good enough or it can take off, it can only go so far because you did it over somebody else's beat. So I started to be like, all right, I'm gonna produce a project and I'll make all the beats. It's gonna all be original music, just in case one of these songs take off or we go tour off this music. Then it's all original music. It ain't like I'm up there doing something that somebody else, you know, already put out. And so just keeping that mind frame and then wanting to make sure when I mix it like a majors would sound. I want to make sure I shoot videos like a major would do. And let's treat these mixtapes like albums because social networks made it to where millions of people can find your music. You know, every time you get the opportunity to put your music out, to have an impression on someone, you should always do your best. And so that's kind of how I looked at all my mixtapes.
Sure. So what was the challenge when you then moved on to a proper album? I mean, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. What was the challenge? Did you want to make it distinct from what you've done before? There are certain things that I wanted to get into a little bit that are different.
No doubt.
Think about the album. But I was just thinking, like, what was the challenge of putting something together that was a bit different?
For one, samples. Not being able to just go crazy with samples. You know, my previous projects, sample whatever and just make it happen because the music was for free. But now with retail and the whole marketing plan and having a 3-month rollout before you drop your album, it's like it's totally different because you might sample something and the publisher might not like the record or might not want to use it or you might can't get in touch with them, so you can't use the song, period. So that was different. Actually having to really pay attention to the time frame. I was so used to doing a project like, yo, let's drop it next week, let's drop it next week, and it wasn't like that this time, man. And you know, for me it was like the most important thing I was doing with this album was trying to make it to where if nobody ever heard my music before, that they would get the same feel and vibe that you would get from Cliches, Return Forever Today. Trying to figure out a way to take everything that people loved from those projects and put it on my first debut album, you know, because it was one of those things where a lot of people still hadn't heard them first 3 projects. So I could have went too far with the material and then and been like, no, I'm drawing people in at the same time staying true to myself. And you know, it was just a blessing to be able to have the kind of features I had on having Big K.R.I.T on my album was crazy. But it still gave me time to grow as an artist. I think that was the most important.
Right. I think the sound has also developed somewhat. I think there's my impression, like, well, I only got the album quite recently, so I need to get into it more, but my impression is that you're going more with the synth sound, you're going more back to the UGK sound, that kind of southern, whereas before you experimented with, maybe that's the same, like the soul loops that you used on the mixtape.
No doubt. I mean, Cliches was a combination of me making a lot of different kinds of music at one point. Like, I had the No Weedies record that almost could sound like more of an East Coast feel. The Get-Right song or Return Forever is definitely my take on West Coast. But with with Live from the Underground, it was me solely finding my sound and sticking to it. And that was the most important thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Because in one of those situations where I didn't want the album to sound like a lot of different thoughts and ideas. Like, no, I wanted it all to seem cohesive. And I think I was able to do that. So, like I said, it's just going to give me more time to grow as a producer and artist.
Sure. Do you want to identify the sound as a southern sound?
Oh, I think it's me making the kind of music that I really, really enjoy and praying that other people can relate to it. Because you get caught up in trying to make something that worldly or something that everybody will like, and then you be on stage and you don't really like it yourself. You know, a lot of the music that I make, I feel comfortable performing. I love to ride around, listen to it, so it makes it easier for me to talk about it, perform it, you know, all that stuff. Like, I think some of the greats made the kind of music that reflected their backyard or their environment, and then everybody else just picked up on it and loved it as well.
Yeah, and if anything, you're showing, as if people didn't, like, a lot of people probably didn't know, but you're showing that the South is a lot of things.
Thank you. Thank you, no doubt.
You know, I mean, of course, it always has been, but there is like this idea that the South is a certain thing, and when you bring in like the whole, especially in a mixtape with these soul loops, and there's this golden age sound to some of it. There's of course UDK. There's organized noise. You know, all these things coming together. Has it been difficult? I mean, you really work with a lot of different inspirations. Has it been difficult negotiating those different things? I mean, hip hop is so regionalized in some ways.
Not really. I mean, only because I never wanted to be put in one category. And then, thank God, I get the opportunity to work with a lot of the people that influenced me. Being able to work with Big K.R.I.T, Bun B, Devin the Dude, 8Ball MJG. Like the fact that they pick homage, well, I pay homage to them, and then they respect it, and then I work with them. It's love, you know what I'm saying? Because then it shows everybody else like, yo, this is the sound, and this is where I got my influence. This is where I got was inspired from. These people, listen to their music so you can understand where I'm coming from. Like, these kind of artists made it cool in a way to be Southern when I was growing up. So it's only right that I go back and I be like, yo, listen to this. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, no, it's not, it hasn't been difficult.
And it's not difficult dissociating yourself, finding your own style when you're...
I mean, it's about, but I think it's about writing my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still talk about where I'm from, my city, my street, you know, just like everything around me and my journey. So it's my life, but sonically, I've been around this kind of music so long that I've learned how to create it and make it my own.
Right. I also, something that I find interesting is that in terms of your lyrics, you have the more introspective side, and you also work with a lot of the tropes and cliches of Southern sort of...
Oh yeah, we have fun. Yeah, no doubt.
And I think, to me, that's something that's quite specific to Southern hip hop. Like, that's what Goodie Mob and Outkast would always do. You know, they do a song that do we love these hoes, and actually it's also a criticism of materialism. You know, at the same time as it's enjoying it. You know, it's a very sort of a... I don't know whether that's your experience.
I mean, but for me it was like to say that I'm solely a conscious artist. I wouldn't say that. I make real life music. I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? And just as much as I like to go to the strip club, I wouldn't want to see my sister in one. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of mind frame that I'm coming to with my music, that I'm gonna tell you both sides of the spectrum. Sometimes I just like to ride around in my old school and listen to my music, and that's what my day may consist of. Other days I may deal with spirituality. Some days I deal with financial problems, relationship problems. But it's important that I tell you about all these things I go through, because emotionally as human beings, we all have those days where we feel like we super fresh, we got the best kick song, can't nobody say nothing to it. And then you have them days where you really feel like you don't know what you're going to do or what your calling is. And so I just try to put all that on wax, you know.
Right. What about now that you have put together real again?
It's cool, man. I understand what you mean.
For me, it's 4 albums.
Man, but I understand what you mean. Now that you put out an album that's in a store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are there commercial considerations that you have to, you know? Okay. Are there certain commercial considerations that you have to think about that, you know, where in terms also of shaping your identity on a...
I mean, not really on, because I've always, as far as people that know me in television or even just being in interviews, I've always been myself. Let people know I'm a God-fearing man, and I'm definitely spiritual, and I'm always want to say something important in my music. And even in some of these crunk records and high energy records, I'm still praising God, and I'm trying to give you some kind of insight. I mean, so nah, man, for me it's never gonna be a change up. Everything that I wear, because I want to wear it, and I'm around the people I want to be around. And other than that, brother, like, I'm just living my life. You know?
What can we expect of your show?
High energy.
Excellent.
High energy, man. I don't know. You know, we out here, we get hurt. So we keep it moving, man. It's gonna be a little difficult with me kind of bending the mic. Well, not bending the mic, but actually holding the mic today. But Lord willing, I gonna get through it. We still jump out in the crowd and do whatever we got.
I see Yelawolf is here too. Can we expect full of shit?
Ah man, I just know that he gonna turn it up too before me, so I'm excited. You know, I'm gonna have to go out there.
We expect you to go like toe to toe on.
Probably so. You know. We know what's up. Like you know, so and Yellow the kind of performer that I learned from. Him and David Banner are the two people I can sit down and say I saw them perform and I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So shit, I already know what to expect. I'm gonna go watch his performance. Trust me. I'm gonna go watch it, dog.
Excellent. Thanks, man. We're looking forward to it.
No doubt, brother. I appreciate it.